Hello, today we are covering 9.3 geometric sequences. You guys will be able to define, identify, and apply geometric sequences. So if we take a quick look here, geometric nth term is just this formula to find a specific term in a sequence. It could be the 100th, the 250th, the 3128th. It could be any of those terms, or any other ones that I didn't even mention that you are trying to find. The nth term just talks about this formula to solve for it, okay? Now, we need to know what each of these variables in our formula means. A sub 1 is always talking about our first term in our sequence. N is our number of terms. That's the term you're trying to solve for. And R is our common ratio. This is our only new one out of the three that we will discuss, okay? Before we move forward, though, I also want to talk about geometric mean real quick. We discussed arithmetic mean in the last section. Geometric mean obviously has something to do with geometric sequences, right? There's other applications as well. There's a good chance you probably learned this in geometry, just how to do it. So if we try to find the geometric mean of 16 and 9, you could honestly visualize this as a sequence. You have 16, comma, blank, comma, 9. You're trying to find that in the middle. Now, a geometric sequence, it has that common ratio. You are either multiplying or dividing a common thing instead of adding or subtracting, okay? So, to find a geometric mean, you go ahead and multiply the two terms in question, 16 and 9, and then you take the square root of them. So you end up getting 12 as your middle term. That is your geometric mean. Now, how do you find the common ratio? We're going to need this for the rest of the problems. So to find a common ratio, you go ahead and take the second term divided by the first term. Or you take the third term divided by the second term. They are a common ratio. That means these all need to be the same. They actually all reduce to 3/4, so that's fine. You could actually find the next term then based on that 3/4 number. You would find what is 3/4 of 9 to find the fourth term. Doesn't ask us to do that, so we won't do that. But that is how you solve here for the geometric mean, okay? Now, we're going to use our geometric nth term equation to solve for the rule and then solve for the 10th term. So I need to decide what my first term is. That's pretty easy. It's 2. And I need to find my common ratio. I take the second term divided by the first term. I like to check at least 2 just to make sure I'm not accidentally using the wrong formula. They both end up being that the common ratio is 2, so that checks out there. You can keep checking the rest of them too. The common ratio is 2 for all of them. Then we have our rule. We start with our geometric nth term equation. A sub n equals a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1 power. And I go ahead and plug in my a sub 1 and my r. And this is my rule. I'm actually done. I've solved for my rule already. To solve for a sub 10, that would almost probably be easy enough to just solve for by using the common ratio and just finding all 10 terms. But because we have the rule, we might as well use it. I plugged in 10. Oops, my bad. That should be a 1. Got ahead of myself. I have 2 times 2 to the 9th power. Notice, these go together. So I want to go ahead and take 2 to the 9th power. That is a 512. So I end up getting 1024 as my 10th term, or my solution. Now, as I said, you can check this. If it's a small enough term that you're trying to find, you can write out all 10 terms if you really wanted to. And you'll notice that the 10th term is truly 1024 as our solution, okay? Last example for this one, we are going to find the rule and a sub 5. Now I should have given you a bigger number because finding the 5th term is really easy when you already have 4 terms. That's okay. Give you an easy one. A sub 1, or the first term, is 3. Our common ratio, we can check all of these if we wanted. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. 12 divided by negative 6 is negative 2. Negative 24 divided by 12 is negative 2. So our common ratio is negative 2. Now we can use our geometric nth term formula. A sub n equals a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. Now our rule is just as simple as going ahead and plugging in a sub 1, r, and keeping the n minus 1. But solving, when we have a negative r, can be slightly tricky. If you're not smarter than your calculator, you might accidentally get the wrong solutions. You have to pay specific attention to the fact that a negative number to an even exponent has to give you a positive number. If you don't use your parentheses, there's a good chance your calculator would give you a negative number. Okay? So we take 2 to the 4th power. We end up getting 16. If you didn't use your parentheses, it would probably say a negative 16, but no, that is not correct. And then you multiply that by 3, and you end up getting 48 as your 5th term. If you were to multiply negative 24 times negative 2, you would get positive 48, so that checks out. All right?